What the heck is going on? I was going to say, are we having fun yet? Well, not yet. I haven't produced the fun stuff yet. Trying to get into my, this is what I do all the time. I try to, hold on. There we go. I think I'm in. Last time, I only use this laptop, this thing, because it doesn't stay on. That picture I just put on there, it makes me look like a serial killer. No, I'll get demonetized if I put stuff like that on. I gotta be careful what you put on YouTube. Gotta be careful. Already got 10 people on here. Hello. How's it going, everybody? What the heck's going on? You might have noticed we're putting up a lot more videos lately. We are going crazy. Hi, Kimberly Trickle. Oh, hi, Kimberly. Big Joseph Williams fan. We're putting out a lot of interviews. Oh, Pookie says 77.8. Well, Apple News just shared one of our Steve Lukather stories. A friend of mine on Facebook just let me know. Hello from Boston. M. Howie. I can't read that. Getting old, can't read up close anymore. M. Howell 99. Jetpack Label Group. Cheers. Hey, Jetpack, I know who you are. Also, Sean Barnes. Hello there. Guy Williams. Hey. We get a lot of the same people on here, which is really nice. Just hanging out. Hey, John. Chris Snodgrass. Greetings from Charlotte, West Virginia. Vegas in the house. Kirk, thank you. We're putting out a lot of videos lately, mainly because we have a plethora of interviews. We haven't finished. Even like the Charlie Morgan, Elton John stuff. We put that on Friday Night Live, and everyone kind of likes the format we have. Not everyone does. Everyone says, put the whole video up at one time. Yeah, that's never going to happen. We're never going to do that. We're probably going to put some of them on our sister channel, which is Rock History Book. I know it's confusing. I don't know why I created 2 channels, but the other channel is for not current stuff. It's for stuff in the past. So, also we have a PayPal button now. People are always saying, why don't you just, I don't want to buy a t-shirt. How can I help out the channel? Well, in the description, there's a PayPal link. If you want to help the channel, we'd appreciate it. We're in the process of trying to move right now, or looking at moving. And that's a heck of an endeavor. James McKinley, hey there. Did you recently get a long-winded message I sent you? Contact Lynn Scalar for you and telling him that you were looking major channel for an interviews. I don't know. Did you? I'm not sure if my wife opened that, if Shannon opened that. She's usually very good at letting me know if someone is communicating with us. Shannon is doing more of the administration stuff side, getting interviews, and she's incredibly good at that because that's the kind of work she's in. She sells homes, and follow through is a big thing for her. Not so good with me. Not so good. Question. Who will be the first rock band to play live in 2021? Oh, God, I don't know. Pookie, I don't know. Man. It could be anybody. I don't think anybody can guess, really. But James McKinley, sorry, typo of your channel for an interview. You might have, but I don't think I got it. Hold on, I got to grab a pillow. He's gone. Now he's back. Oh. I know that's way too close, huh? That's too much closeness of John Beaudin. Don't want to put that face up there. James McKinley, he did not respond to me whatsoever, just letting you know. He doesn't, Leland never responded to me. I don't think he has anything against a channel. It's not like that. It's just that. Danica, can you let the dog in? But I think that's just, he gets a lot. So I'm okay. I don't take it personally. We recently reached out to the 2 surviving monkeys. May hear back from them, may not. We go back to the 60s and even sometimes the 50s with Bobby Rydell, for instance, talking to him about meeting the Beatles when he didn't know he saw the Beatles. And in the beginning, it's like, excuse me, It's like the Bare Naked Ladies. First, you get Chase. Can you come and get the dog in? He's barking outside. Chase is working on an interview with Jesse Cook that we did, the flamenco guitarist, not for this channel, for our Canadian channel. And yeah, I can hear him. He's crazy. Anyway, Jesse and I have known each other since, I don't know. And when I talked to him this time, it was like, hey, what's going on? I haven't talked to you in 12 years. Seriously, it was like that. So it's for the Canadian Rock History Canada. Pookie, Leland lives in my... I just asked Danny Korchmar, speaking of Leland Sklar, for an interview. Cooch, I've always wanted to talk to him. What are your other channels? We've got Nail Sheet, which we weren't sure what to do with an entertainment channel, and I didn't want to cover like the Kardashians and crap like that, or Demi Lovato, or what's going on with her, or any of these people that are being named in all these entertainment channels. The 10 weirdest quirks of these celebrities or whatever, or celebrities who don't like to be celebrities, and just interesting things like that. So Rock History Canada, Nail Sheet, Rock History Book, and Rock History Music. Nail Sheet. It's in the description, but this one. The only thing we've got in the description of this one is our PayPal. If you want to donate to PayPal, you don't have to, but if you feel like you want to support the channel, that's fine. Space Ace Ron checking in from Kingsport, Tennessee. I find that interesting. You know why I named the entertainment channel Nail Sheet? It's because inside our garage, there's, in the back of a particle board for the garage, it's not finished. It says Nail Sheet. And I looked at that and I'm going, I'm going to buy that URL, which I did. So, Phil Collins' Face Value is 40. I love Phil Collins. Barry Bowman. That was such a great album. I remember getting Small Creeps Day by Mac Rutherford, and Tony Banks. What's the name of that one? What's the Tony Banks' first album? Curious Feeling. And Face Value. In that era, you know, and enjoying them all for different reasons. And of course, Gabriel. Steve Hackett stuff. Hollywood Sucks, Waste. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about, with Nail Sheet, right now it's all obituaries on there, but we're just kind of looking and going, what we don't want to do like the, what is it, Nick, what's the name of that woman? Chase, Nikki Swift? She's very, very successful. And she does what she does very, very well, but I don't want to do the celebrities then and now, look what they look like now. I mean, everyone gets old. Why would you do that? I don't want to do that kind of stuff. Colleen Foy, okay. Barry Bowman, Phil Collins, okay. Melissa Collar, I'm excited about your interview with Ian Anderson. I am too. This is a third, fourth? I know people say, well, how come you can't remember? I don't. Oh, thank you, John Potton. Thank you again. And my amazing wife, yeah, everyone says I have an amazing wife. But everyone, you should look at it that way. Everyone should have an amazing wife. They're all amazing in their own way. Anyway, thank you. She's Nikki Swift. It is Nikki Swift, right? Well, I think that Nikki Swift, who makes an incredible amount of money, I can't even comprehend how much money she probably makes, because she got into a groove. And it's easy to cross a line where you're talking about stuff where you're going, it's kind of in bad taste. You know, even when we were doing on Rock History Book, the other channel, Artists Who Died Without Fanfare, there was a part of me that went, and Jason Close, our writer, wrote that one. Even then I went, no, that's okay. We're honoring the artist. We're not doing anything. We're not chasing ambulances or anything. But yeah, she makes money being negative. It sells so much. That's the problem. By the way, John, I appreciate your donation. And I realize sometimes when we have more negative news it always does better. We just did Neil Donnell. We're in the middle of a series with Neil Donnell, the current tenor lead singer of Chicago. And when we did a series on him and saying, hey, man, back off the haters. Listen, my mother just died. Oh, it just did so well. And it was nice. Neil reached out to me, and so did his son, which enabled us to interview him for this. But the negative part of that story did well because it was negative. It was people talking about. There are people who do what I do on YouTube. Man, they just love doing the negativity. When I was in the broadcasting part of going to the journalistic part of going to broadcasting school, my teacher Mel at the time said, there's a current thought, like the National Enquirer, of representing an idea which is opposite to the norm. That will always get you hits. Of going, well, some people believe Saucer Full of Secrets, I just did that with Lee Harris, is the best Pink Floyd album. Most people don't believe that, right? And if you say, like the first Moody Blues album, with Denny Lane, like the early Denny Lane stuff is the best stuff, people go, what the hell, you're crazy. Or if you say In Through the Outdoors is the best Led Zeppelin album, if someone takes that stance, they're going to get a lot of hits, because it's presenting an opposite opinion of what most people believe. And that's what a lot of people go by when they do this. It's not like I don't know that. I just don't want to be the guy who does that, because really, the people who do that, a lot of the times they're lying. They're just trying to get hits. They're just trying to rally you up, right? And it works, but I don't want to be that guy. So Nicki Swift does stuff like that, and she's really good at it. And I'm not here to badmouth her necessarily. That's her thing. I'm just saying I don't want to do that. That's nothing. We just don't want to do that kind of stuff. Don't become a Kardashian. Who said that? George Berry. No, there's no universe in like that any Kardashian would knock on my door and I would go hypnotized. I mean, you've seen my interviews. I don't go all googie-eyed on the people that I talk to. One thing that I pride myself in is I'm not afraid of them. Oh, thank you. Buki Martinez. Keep up the good interviews, John. Sweet Danica and amazing editor Chase. Chase, you're getting some love.
Thanks, guys.
He's over there. Love the Paul Carrick interviews. This is from Brandon Steele. Anyway, Pookie, thank you. Paul Carrick, there's still, I think there's 10 more parts. It was a long interview. And he was just more, and I cut it off the interview. He says, I've got nothing. He said, no, don't worry. I said, I don't want to keep you too long. And he says, actually, it's he says, I don't have anything to do. He says, I did a lot of stuff this morning. So I was going, well, thanks, man. Or saying Dave Evans was best ACD singer. I wasn't really that familiar with him. I remember there was a guy there. That's the stuff. You get it, right? You get it. So that's what will get you hits, but also that's what will get you a lot of people disliking your video, because if you're going out of your way to rile people up, why would you do that? Life's tough enough as it is. So I don't want to do those kind of videos. I mean, we thought of an idea of going, because I think it was Nicki Swift or one of those people who said artists who have actors that Hollywood will not touch. And Julie Stiles was on there. Chase, can you give her your phone? I can't. I'm using mine right now. It's just 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And I went, she's in Riviera. She's in that show. And then they had Miley Cyrus, and I'm going, Miley Cyrus is doing well. I mean, I don't really care about Miley Cyrus at all, and I'll never contribute to helping her career after what's that Miley Cyrus? What do you call that thing she did?
I don't know.
He's really a lot of help. He's really there for me.
There's many things she did.
Okay, what's that thing? Twerking. Once I saw that twerk, you couldn't unsee it, and I went, I love split ends growing in Edmonton. JT Shark. Split ends, K97 played split ends a lot in Edmonton when I was there all of the 80s. I got there on August 21st, 79. I left there in July of 1989. So I was there for 10 years There for 4 Stanley Cups. Worked for CKRA, 96 K Lights. So JT Shark, I was there. A little bit. David Bryant, is Tool considered rock? Yeah. We're all talking about Nicki Swift still. George Berry, I bet Nicki Swift loses a lot of defamation money in court. I think she's really careful. Maybe I've watched 10 videos of hers, maybe 12. Ask me tomorrow, I'll say 20. But I think she's careful. See, you can ask someone a question and then they'll answer it. And with YouTube now, you don't necessarily have to ask for the other point of view. You can invite them to come in. It's a different world now. Someone asked me the other day, do I have insurance for that? I do have insurance for that. Yeah, Split Ends became Crowded House. That is true. We all, Barry, we all watch Miley because of the kids' age. We watch Miley Cyrus. Tora Porco. Hey, how's it going? Split Ends album with a laser etched. Laser cut was cool. I remember that. We used to call it laser etched. Brandon Steele. Simon Phillips could 100% drum for Rush. He could. I don't think he would do it. Just from talking to him, I just had the feeling that maybe that's not his thing. I don't know if you want to be tied down to doing a particular thing. Floyd the Barber, nice to hear from you, Floyd. I'm just scattered today. Can you tell? I'm scattered. Let's do a live feed. Let's see how that goes. Woo! Who would be considered the Mount Rushmore of Canadian artists of bands? Well, Rush, of course. The Guess Who. There's so many people. My favorite Canadian band, I've said this before, is April Wine. And, in high school, I would go, oh my God, what are you crazy? I'm going, shut up. Like, you can't tell someone who wouldn't like. You either like, April Wine's my favorite Canadian band of all time. Bought all their albums as soon as they came out. Had an interview with the band. They signed all my albums. We gave some away when we were doing this big April Wine thing. Mine would be Rush, The Guess Who, Neil Young, Gordon Lightfoot. I'm not a huge Neil Young fan. He'd be a great interview, though. He's an interesting guy. He doesn't suffer fools. Gordon Lightfoot, huge Gordon Lightfoot fan. Huge. JT Shark, did you work with Andy Stein spelling at K97? No, I worked at CKRA. I worked at CKRA from 83 to 86. Then I worked for CKXM. And then they would borrow me at CFRN a little bit now and then. And that was it, I think. And I used to syndicate the Cross Canada Report when I was in Edmonton, which was a show that was heard at 40 plus stations across the country. We had a rock version of the show and an AC version of the show. We had 2 versions. Respect for April Wine, George Berry. So I never worked at K97. I worked with Dave Welch, Steve Burgess, Len Tucson, Mike, who was the morning guy, I forget his name. Anyway, worked with all those guys. Great team. Some of the best broadcasters I've ever worked with. I just interviewed Dave Welch for a special on our Canadian channel. I'm going to start interviewing a lot more broadcasters. I'm selfish. I'm interviewing people that I've worked with. Most of there's a few interviews on there. There's an interview on there with Len Tucson. You must know Len Tucson if you're from Edmonton. Go to Rock History Canada and you'll see it. Still love Electric Jewels. Yeah, I love that album. And that was the last album where Jim Clench and Miles Goodwin were trading back and forth their vocals. Electric Jewels was the last time. By the time they got to Stand Back, Jim Clench only had 2 songs. So, What a Night was one of them, though. That was like amazing. How about Joni Mitchell? Yeah, Joni Mitchell's probably my favorite Canadian singer. Summer Wine is better than April Wine. Okay, Mike Patrick, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but okay. George Berry, Lynn Miles, ever heard of her? Canadian folk pop, so good. No, I don't think so. Dr. Sylvian Carlebois. Hey, what do you think of the best Canadian songwriter in history? I'd say Gordon Lightfoot's right up there. I think Ron Sexsmith is an amazing singer. I had lunch with Ron Sexsmith. Danica, can you let the dog in? Danica, you let the dog in? I've told this story before, but Ron Sexsmith and I in Calgary here I just interviewed him, and the person who was driving him around hadn't come back or couldn't come around. He says, I'm really getting hungry. And I said, well, why don't we go to, what do you eat? And he liked Asian food. So we went to this place, and it's just him and I think our promotions guy, and the owner comes up to me because he knew me because we were there all the time, and he went, oh my God, is that Ron Sexsmith? I said, yeah. And he says, oh, I'm going to go to the car and get an album. So anyway, we got him autographed. We introduced him, took a picture. He just loved him so much. And then Ron Sexsmith's song came on the radio because they always played our radio station. We played a lot of his music. So I love Ron Sexsmith. Chilliwack, Max Webster, Prism, some of the great stuff. That's dyslexic. So are you dyslexic? JT Shark, did you work with Jungle J. Hamilton? Where do I know J. Hamilton? Where do I know that name from? I haven't heard that name in years, so I don't know. There was a guy we worked with at K-Light who was a big broadcaster, a Toronto broadcaster, and he had a name like J. Hamilton. I don't know. Was Jay a big guy? He always left the control room in a mess, if it's him. It's in my journal. I kept a journal, and it's all the names of the people I worked with. I'd have to ask Dave Welch. You remember. Dr. Sylvian Charlebois. Good picks, thanks. John De Silva. Canadian bands. The Guess Who was good. Yeah, I'm trying to get an interview with Burton Cummings right now, but they always. Last time I tried, we had 30,000 subscribers, but now we have 77. By the weekend, we should be at 80. So maybe it'll make a difference. Who knows? Tea Party, David Robertson, Tea Party, Empty Glass, great song. I was in a men's group with the lead singer of Tea Party. I don't know his name. I've never liked the Tea Party. But the lead singer's best friend, I think his name was Mark. I was in a group with him, sort of a psychology, getting your yayas out group, just not getting your yayas, but working on your stuff. And one day he told me, he says, do you know so-and-so of Tea Party? I said, no, I'm not a fan of the Tea Party. I said, nothing wrong with them. I'm sure they're fine. But their music doesn't do anything for me. John Myler, why do you suppose Harlequin never got bigger? I don't know. I interviewed George Boulanger, their lead singer. One of the first interviews I ever did, I think after Trooper. I was very nervous. Their new member, he was blonde, I remember, came with them. The interview's downstairs, and I'm afraid to listen to it because, oh my God, I must have been just chattering so much. That's what happens. You can always tell someone who's not accomplished at interviewing people. I think she's done, Chase. They talk a lot. They interrupt a lot. And they're nervous a lot. There's a lot of movement going on. So I was like that. They were a good band, though. Pookie Martinez. Rush made it big here in the U.S. through Cleveland. WMMS, rest in history. Yeah, we're done. Thank you. Yeah, I love you too. We're going to eat later? Okay. Chase, how much? What's your timeline?
About 14 minutes.
Okay. BTO was popular. Oh, Pookie Martinez, yeah. JT Shark, Edmonton in the 80s. Yeah, I'm proud to say that I started in radio in Edmonton. It was a great town. The boom was happening in '79 when I moved there from New Brunswick. There was great radio, syndicating the Cross Canada Report at, I think the dog wants to come in again. Thank you. Was amazing. Len Tucson helped me with that. I created the show at K-Light and he let me take it when I left. So that's not always a fact. Floyd the Barber. How influential do you think Harry Chapin was? 100,000 pounds of bananas. Remember that song? I watched some of his appearances at Tonight Show, Midnight Special. He was a real character. He really had a quirky, I think he died in a Volkswagen Rabbit. I think that's what he was driving at the time. I was on the air when I found out. I'm not sure when it happened, but I remember I was on the air and I announced it. And it was shocking because WOLD, Cats in the Cradle, of course. But I love that stuff. I have also had a radio mentor who was in the local radio station who was a big Harry Chapin fan. So he would play me a lot of stuff. So, right note. I was working downtown Toronto when Ron Sexsmith was a bicycle courier. Then to see him live was great. I think Ron would have been bigger. He got in with the right people. I don't know. I don't think he cared. There's a part of me that I interviewed Graham Goldman of 10cc, and he said, "Oh my God, I love the man." We went on and on. There's a clip on Rock History Canada about Graham Goldman just going on about Ron Sexsmith. Please interview Lynn Miles. What? The name sounds familiar. She was very close to Gordon Lightfoot, and she has won a Juno Award for 3 Canadian Folk Music Awards. Oh, cool. I'll look her up. I can't guarantee I'll interview her, but maybe for the Canadian channel, right? Floyd the Barber, Cleveland, home of the Raspberries. I think I told you we have an interview. That Studer reel-to-reel that's right beside me when I do the interviews, the big one on the floor, that's a Eric Carmen interview on there. That Len Tucson from that station I talked about, Len Tucson, he gave me that interview when he sold me that Studer. Okay. Rolling Stone, get your yayas out. Pookie Martinez. JT Shark, I have introduced the English to, do you mean Gay Delorme? I was talking to Kenny Passarelli of the Elton John band, and Joe Walsh's co-writer, Joe Walsh's Rocky Mountain Way. He's also in the song. And he went nuts about playing with Gay Delorme. Just crazy. John Booker's Full Spectrum. At home, the home of Michael Stanley. There you go. Fast. Colleen Foy, Raspberries. Love. He was classically trained. He sounds like he was, especially on All By Myself, right? John De Silva. Any chance of interviewing Jim Crochet's wife, Ingrid, about Jim Crochet and his inspirational music? I don't know. Do you know how to get a hold of her? I'd be open to talking to her. I mean, how do you get a hold of someone's wife? George Berry, someone's widow in this case. George Berry, a classic bad interview. Chris Farley with Paul McCartney on Saturday Night Live. Hilarious, yeah. And I'll use that. I'll reference that a lot of times when someone, like Lee Harris, for instance, we just put this interview up a half an hour ago. And I told, in the interview, I'm going, do you come up to Nick Mason and go, hey, Nick, remember that time? Remember that time you guys did, Bad Side of the Moon? Dark Side of the Moon. What am I talking about? I'm thinking of April Wine, Bad Side of the Moon. John Beaudin's crazy. I'm a Long Islander, and with Harry Chapin was a legend here. Of course, George Berry. He also wrote, yes, Harry was in a VW involved in the crash. Truck hit his car. That was such a shock. I mean, when you look at people who aren't supposed to die. Leland is one busy man, Mark Termal. He is. And he's doing money with his own videos. I mean, he's doing way better than we are, but he's Leland Sklar. So, of course he is. George Berry, to this day, Harry's work to feed people and poverty lives on. Yeah, it's still going on. M. Howell 99. John, you should interview Floyd the Barber. Great taste in music. Floyd the Barber. I should know more of both Floyd the Barber. There you go. Tora Porco. Do you ever get Doug and the Slugs? No, but Doug Bennett's dead now. He's been dead for quite a few years. Doug was a very heavy drinker. I've told this story before, but my best friend in Vancouver and some of the parts in Edmonton was Steve Burgess, who was a great journalist. He became a $1 a word guy for a while. I'm not sure if he still is. Like, he was really getting paid well. He's brilliant. The Mensa guys used to follow him around. Steve gave me all his interviews when he was done with them. Steve had a border or a sort of a, hey, take it easy. He's going to knock over the camera. The dog. So Steve, this girl grew up in Steve's family. I think her name was Nancy, if I remember. I haven't seen her in a long time. She's redhead. she grew up with Steve's family, and she ended up marrying Doug Bennett. And one day, Doug was having this party. He lived in East Vancouver, and I think it was Steve or someone said, "Look underneath the bassinet in the kitchen and in the bathroom." I'm not doing that. I hate doing that. I can't look at people's cabinets and stuff. I feel yucky. And whoever it was, I think it was Steve, said, "Look underneath." And he had gold albums hiding underneath it. Not because he didn't want them stolen, because he didn't want to brag. This is Doug Bennett. I never got a chance to know Doug very well. He knew who I was. He knew I was Steve's best friend. We talked a little bit now and then. You know, when I was around him at art openings and stuff like that, I always noticed that. We'd ask Steve, does he drink a lot? You know, because I was worried about him. But he was such a nice guy, an incredibly witty man. I mean, you could tell from Doug and the Slugs. And so anyway, we have 2 interviews downstairs with Steve, who knows Doug incredibly well, and Doug Bennett. And they're so funny. But we have to cook them because they old tapes. Bad Side of the Moon was also the April Wine song. That's why I said that. Derek Brown. AI Gaming. I bet if you slept... Okay. Don't say stuff like that. You're going to get banned. Ray Lawhorn. John De Silva. I remember reading about the house fire that destroyed pics and recordings of Jim Crochet's. Oh. Derek Vaughn. I watch in Nebraska daily. I really appreciate your channel. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. John De Silva. Terrible loss indeed, Rob. Patrick DeGraff. Please stop cutting up every interview into a million parts. It's very annoying. We're not going to stop doing that. That's what we do. If you don't like it, please go to another channel. We're not going to do that. It's worked really well for us. Incredibly well. James Willis. I love Sign of the Gypsy Queen. Great tune. Dennis Habercorn. Would love you to interview the girls of Fanny. I've tried. I've reached out to them. JT Shark. Doug Bennett was a regular on Commercial Drive in the 80s and 90s. Well, he lived off Commercial Drive or on Commercial Drive because he lived in East Vancouver. I remember that. He and Nancy did. And I think I only went to their house maybe 3 times. And the party was one of them. So I wasn't a friend of Doug's. I knew him and he knew who I was. Top 40 Hub. Hey, John, have you ever had a chance to talk to Shirley Eichart? I have. But just pleasantries and no interviews. She sent me stuff. I have an autographed picture downstairs she sent me with an album. Remember she had the hit Fleetwood Mac, Say You Love Me? Yes. I could still reach out to her. She was big in the 70s. She was. Derek Brown. I have a lot of Canadians here. I was just having a little fun. Okay. Randall Anderson. See that Burton, Cummings, and Randy Bachman are coming back to tour. I noticed that when I was on Burton's site the other day, that he's doing that when I reached out to them and said, please, I'd like an interview with Burton. I've talked to Randy Bachman twice. That's why if you look at this series, part of the series is him in the studio, and part of the series, in the same interview clip sometimes, all of a sudden he's on the phone. Because when I was finished with him, he had to keep going. And that's where he told me at the door. He's waiting at the door, and I'm waiting with him. And it's just him and I. And I said, you're going to tour with Burton again? He said, well, that all depends because Burton wants $2 million for every $1 million I've got. I said, really? And he says, it's okay. It's money. A lot of people get mad, but he says, money I wouldn't have. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Oh my God, look at the dog, Chase. He wants to eat. It's still too early for you to eat.
That's just the way he does.
You gotta what? You gotta see this. Oh no, he just moved because he. Kim and Wayne Peters. John, who is your fave West Coast band? I don't really look at like West Coast sort of, I guess, Toto. Sticky Tape Records. I love Sticky Tape Records. Will Genesis still go on with the tour plans before they shut down? If Phil can do it. I was wondering with that one. I wasn't sure. George Berry. John, we consider Honeymoon Suite a Canadian act or American act? They are still going strong. A Canadian act. Derry lives in the U.S. I just interviewed Derry for the Canadian channel on Rock History Canada. Floyd the Barber, have you ever reached out to any of the Beach Boys? No, but we've got, who do we have downstairs? Steve Burgess gave me a few interviews with a few of them. Not Mike Love. Ron Rockstar Media. Rockstar Media. Hey, John. Great to be here. How you doing? What kind of channel do you have, Ron? Are we going to give you a plug here? Or do you have do you do what I do? If you do, let me know. We'll plug you like crazy. I like when other people do what we do. I always find that, you kind of choose the person who does it. That's why Rick does really well. Rick Beato does well because he's just a personable guy. So when I watch his stuff, I wouldn't, even with the information he gives, I kind of like him. Pete Pardo, Sea Tranquility. I always mention the same three people. I like Pete Pardo because he seems like a good guy. He seems like an interesting guy. You'd want to hang out with him. Because if you're watching so many videos of the same person, after a while, you gotta have a rapport with him of going, yeah, he seems like a good guy. If he lived next door, we'd be hanging. And I love Lee Aaron, friendly, down to earth. Just don't mention Metal Queen video. Why? She doesn't like to talk about that? I had tickets to James Willis. I had tickets to Alice Cooper, but week before COVID. Oh, man. John De Silva. I know Ingrid Croce has a coffee shop running. She's keeping the last guitar Jim played. Oh, on the wall. We have not, Robert, I have not interviewed Peter Cetera, but I have an interview with Peter from my friend Steve Burgess, who gave me all his interviews, and it's on our channel. Ron Rockstar Media. John, tonight they are premiering Demi Lovato documentary. Any thoughts? I have no thoughts on Demi Lovato. I'm sorry she's going through what she's going through. And through it a lot. And it's been a lot of years. I know she can empower herself and other people. But yeah, anyway. I just hope she gets well. Good for her. But, yeah. John Swanner Music. Big Sweet fan. Just found your channel with Andy Scott. Thank you. Billy the Squid. You've been here before, Billy. My wife wants $2 for every 1 cent I have. Wait. Mike Patrick, LOL. George Berry, please, no Mike Love. Well, Mike, he's an interesting guy, right? Floyd the Barber, Mike Love is the antithesis of his name. Yes, some people think that. If they call me tomorrow and say, you want to interview Mike Love? I said, yes, please. No. Lead voice of the band. That's hard to say when you consider the wall of sound, harmony, vocals. Look, I got some freaking crazy hair going on here. Have you interviewed Stephen Stills? No, I've tried. James Willis, Douglas Schwabe, Pete Pardo. What's OMI means? Chase, what's OMI mean?
OMI? No idea.
Okay. Rob Lawhorn. Pete Pardo's great. Good for him. I wish him all the success in the world. I like that you cut the interviews into short segments. I care about the subjects. Kind of what we did when we presented the whole John Anderson video, because we didn't care at that point, on the sister channel. So that's what our plan was, to do snippets, and at the end of all the snippets, just present the whole interview on our sister channel. These are all short form. I mean, they're 8 minutes. Most of our new interviews now, they're all 8 minutes. And for anyone who doesn't like that, we look at how long the majority of people watch these videos. And if it says, oh, so-and-so talks about the song blah, 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 we can tell that they basically just watch that part, and the other 2 clips usually after that they don't watch. So it's not like we don't know what we're doing. Anyway. Have you interviewed Kim Mitchell? Yes, on this channel and on our Canadian channel, Rock History Canada. So look it up, John Beaudin. Just look up Rock History Canada and Kim Mitchell, and you'll find it. Lots of clips. Very good interview, good quality. Thoughts on Paul Stanley's new CD? I say good for him, Lori. Hi, Lori. Lori's always set me up with stuff. Good Italian girl. I say good for him. By the way, Lori, I just reached out to all the names that you gave me. I finally did it. I completely forgot about you, but you gave me some good connections, so I did. Teddy K, R.I.P. Sweet Guy too. Floyd the Barber, I wonder if you could get Mickey Thomas from the Elvin Bishop Band, more the Starship Band, of course. John Zeka, who set me up with Bobby Kimball, knows him quite well, so I'll ask him. George Berry, it means in my experience, but I have dyslexia. Teddy K, still could have quit after For What It's Worth, and I'd be cool. Yeah, For What It's Worth was amazing. Rob Lawhorn, 30 minutes posts are 20 minutes too long. I think so. Well, that's just not what I'm interested in doing. I mean, I want to know. See, I present videos like I want to know. If someone says, the reason why, blah, blah, blah. And I will go, yeah, I want to know that. I'll click on it. But listen, he's right. Everyone's right. It's just that if you want that, you're coming to the wrong channel. Go someplace else. Because I'm not going to do that. He's right for wanting that. I'm not going to make him feel bad for wanting that. There's nothing wrong with that. But just that's not what we do. Okay. JT Shark. I still have a weak spot for Helix. Canada's Nazareth to a point. Yeah, well put. Yeah, I never thought of that. What's the name of their lead singer? I reached out to him. They had a new album coming out. God, a year ago. We were going to do a thing on their new album, but I lost track with him. George Berry. But John, we don't all have short attention spans. Hey, wait, bike. AI Gaming. Have you interviewed the Headpins? I've interviewed their lead singer. So, hold on. Darby Mills. It's on the Canadian channel. Just look up my name, John Beaudin, Beaudin, Darby Mills, and you'll see it. Thank you, Lori. Newtboy37. Have you reached out to Paul Rogers since he lives in Canada? He lives in Vancouver, I know. Did you see that picture he posted today of him biking in the desert, so he's not home? Because the desert ain't Vancouver. Teddy K. John, were you an old school MTV, on old school MTV or something? How come I know you from the past? Where are you from, Teddy K? Because I've only been in, if you're Canadian, you might have heard my show. I know most people who watch this channel are American. I've not been in the U.S. We broadcast, there was a friend of mine, Irv, who owned a few stations in the U.S. He broadcast my April Wine special. But that's the only time I've been heard in the U.S. Outside the Rock History Music channel, we used to have a channel, a radio station, internet radio station. Man, it was good. We only played fast songs. Classic rock, fast songs. We never played anything slow. Zeppelin and Pink Floyd now and then, but. So no, I have not reached out to Paul Rogers. I should do that. I was not on MTV or Much Music. I auditioned for Much Music in Canada. And Denise Donlan told me I'm not, and I told Murray McLaughlin this because Denise Donlan, who's a big broadcaster in Canada, is married to Murray McLaughlin. I told Murray that, I says, your wife wrote me a really nice letter. She, because I worked because Much Music in Canada was owned by Chum, and I worked for Chum in Vancouver. So it's not like I was like a newbie or anything like that, but I was newbie to the camera. So good for her. She was very nice. I saw the Brian Wilson tour about 5 years ago, and Mike loved Beach Boys. I love Brian Wilson's concert much better. Brian had Al Jardine with him. John Swanner Music. Love Trooper, especially early LPs. Yeah, me too. It's mostly the early LPs. That original Trooper band, the first one, was really good. Oh, hi. What are you doing with my foot? No, not time yet. You got to wait till 7. Then we'll feed you. Everything will be good. Half an hour. Nope. Dogs. Manassas. I don't know who that is, James. It was a cool band. I love their song, It Doesn't Matter. Firefall sings a different version. I loved It Doesn't Matter. I only know the Firefall version. John Ryan. Ian Thomas is a good storyteller. Don't see any interviews with Rocky. No, but we have interviews. It's not. I think we have 2, possibly 3 interviews with Steve Burgess, the funny guy that gave me all his interviews, and Ian Thomas. And at one point, I'll never forget this. They're talking about Bryan Adams because Bryan was just killing it at the time on the charts, not only here, but in the US, all over the world. And Ian says, well, that Bryan Adams, he's derivative. He's just derivative. He's stealing all my ideas. And, he was joking, of course, but Ian Thomas is so funny. Of course, Dave Thomas's brother from SCTV and Schitt's Creek. No, Dave Thomas is not on Schitt's Creek. It's Eugene Levy. Blah, brain fog. Mark Termal, Saga was amazing. I never really got big on Saga, but I should go back. Lone F8954. I'd like to read the. By the way, thanks for everyone who super chatted us. I appreciate that. If anyone, we always get people who say they don't want to buy t-shirts. They're not interested in a t-shirt. I want to help out. I don't want to buy a t-shirt. There's a PayPal link in the description of this video. If you ever want to donate to the channel, you don't have to. If you ever want to, we're in the process of making some big changes. So, good changes, bigger changes. I was listening to some Queen songs and I fell into this stream. Lone F8954. You just fell in? I hope it's a good hole you fell in. Welcome, by the way. Thank you. Love Queen. People always, what's your favorite Queen album? A lot of people say A Night of the Opera because of Bohemian Rhapsody. But News of the World to me was a great album. I mean, as far as a whole album, and Queen was never consistent on albums. They always had some crazy stuff, and they would go this, and I'm going, what are they doing now? Oh my God, they're doing it, I love that album. That's the last Queen album that I loved. Manassas was Stephen Still's band. Oh, I didn't know that. Name sounds familiar. Driver 2616. Good morning from Ireland. Hey, good morning. Do you have, is coffee big in Ireland? Pardon my ignorance, because I don't know. Do you have tea there or do you have coffee? CK, I saw 125 Rush shows. 125 Rush shows from 82 to 2015? Wow. I got a lot of sun. It really shows. Samurai Jones, just go into Blood, Sweat, and Tears, insane group. Well, we're all familiar with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It's kind of like saying, have you heard about this Zeppelin band? No. Lead me to them. What? Bad joke. James Willis, Chilliwack, My Girl. Love that song. Yeah, that was their second breakthrough. They had an earlier breakthrough with Bill Henderson. I've interviewed him once. We have 2 other Bill Henderson interviews downstairs. It's hard to find. Oh, you bought a Rock History Canada t-shirt. I've got to wear mine. People say keep wearing your t-shirts. I've got 5 of these t-shirts. They're black. And next time I order Rock History Music t-shirts, I'll have these, what do you call this? What kind of color is this? That suits me. I don't like tight collars around my neck. I've never liked, because I used to wear a lot of secondhand clothing when I was young. I know, poor me. And it was always tight and never fit. But we were really poor. We lived in a $500 school. My father won at an auction. So we didn't have a lot of money. Thank you for buying the t-shirt, Top 40 Hub. Again, if people don't want to buy a t-shirt and they want to support the channel, you don't have to. But if you want to, there's a PayPal link in the description of this video. People are always saying, well, I don't want to spend $50 on a t-shirt or $40 or whatever. It's not that they don't have the money, or they're not interested in wearing a t-shirt like that. A swag t-shirt, so. Eric Lange. By the way, Top 40 Hub, thank you. Eric Lange. Hey, John. We've spoken before about this. Short question. Your favorite Elton drummer? Roger Pope is probably my favorite. Even though Nigel Olsson is just... I think Nigel Olsson was the perfect drummer for Elton John. But personally, the drumming that Roger Pope did on Blue Moves and Rock of the Westies is my type of drumming, especially on Blue Moves. That just floored me. He was just on top of his game. Roger liked to drink. a lot. He just did. But I miss him. Never got a chance to meet him. I know Sue Pope, gotten to know her through the years. She reached out to us when Chase did a drum cover for Roger, Elton John song. Stephen Griffin. Manassas was a supergroup. Stephen Stills, John Layla. Cool. Michael Thompson. Frank Marino would be a great interview. Last time I read about Frank, he was saying the music industry is dead. And I went, you're right, Mr. Marino. AI gaming. I work in locations. Worked a couple of seasons on Schitt's Creek near Stoffville. I don't know where that is. Oh, cool. Right Note.
Fast.
Queen 2, my favorite. I like the first Queen album too because it was a rockin' album. The most rockish album is the first album. They were a rock band back then. The first one I bought was Sheer Heart Attack because of Killer Queen. If you wrote a song and needed one singer to sing it, who would you pick? Steve Perry or Freddie Mercury? I like the new Steve Perry. I like the fact that his voice has gone down. There's just something about his voice now. I just really like it. I've always liked Steve Perry. Someone asked me the other day, do you think you'll ever... Chase? Okay. They said, do you think you'll ever interview Steve Perry? Never say never. You know, I never thought I'd interview Ian Anderson, and I think on Friday it's going to be my third or fourth. I can't keep track. Queen, was always my favorite. John Swanner music. JT Shark. News of the World was the first album I bought in 78. Really? Oh, wow. Love the cover, huh? I remember staring at the cover and saying, which one's Brian May? Which one's Freddie Mercury? You know, in the hand.
Fast.
Eric, interview any of the Osmonds? I have not. I had Donnie set up, but it was canceled. Was the first Chilliwack hit, I would think? No. No. Sausalito. I don't know. Eric Lange. Sorry. Nigel Olsson was the guy. Greg, I'm picking two. Nigel Olsson. Roger was too busy, but I like busy drummers. That's why I like. Just watched your Kim Mitchell interview. Awesome. Brings back so many memories from the 80s. Thank you. I appreciate that. CK. He says funny things. Driver 2616, coffee, Americano. Oh, cappuccino, of course. Huh? Yes. John Swanner. He has jams with Hendrix. I just wrote another book called Seekers. I'm trying to get an interview with him. The Doors. Tom Jankowski. Tina Turner finally got a nomination for Rock and Roll. Yes, Hall of Fame. James Willis. Nigel Olsson had a hit song, Dancing Shoes. I remember that. I had the 45. Eric Lange. Roger on Blue Moves was awesome. Just crazy. Listen, I mean, his drumming was just like crazy. Sticky Tape Record. You like that little mouth thing I just did? Rush and UFO Tour. Yeah, wow. AI Gaming. Phil Rudd. I never tried. I've never tried for any AC/DC. Porco. I love Gross and Funky Your Own. Always like the gritty side of Elton John. I wish he would have done more of that. I just wish. The thing is, Blue Moves after that was so adventurous. I still loved it. I kind of forgot that I wanted him just to rock out serious. But I love Blue Moves. A lot of people said it should have been a single album. I do not agree. Robin Trower, spell check. I've tried. Floyd the Barber. So, John, were you in Edmonton when the Oilers were winning the Stanley Cups? How wild was that? I was in Edmonton for 4 of them. In the 90s, in early 90s, they won one with Mark Messier. Gretzky was gone. So, but I remember eating wings on an outdoor place in Vancouver with the guy who gave me those interviews, Steve Burgess, and a few of our friends watching the Oilers win the fifth Stanley Cup. Have you heard the female band Fanny? Yes, I've reached out to them. CK, do you enjoy Dave Grohl? I love Dave Grohl. One of Chase's first drum. What was the Foo Fighters song you did? Rope. That's right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, guys. 5 minutes. I'm gonna have to leave because he has to pick up his PS5.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sick of Bohemian. Can't listen to it anymore. Same for Tom Sawyer and Open Arms. You know what? DM. A lot of people will not admit that there are certain songs that they don't want to hear anymore. I have a list of songs that, like the Elton John hits, I don't listen to as much. Even going back to the 70s, why I remember buying Elton John's greatest hits and going, why aren't I playing it? Because I've heard the song so many times. But then you go full circle, you want to hear them again. And okay, countdown. A little less than 5 minutes. Dog chewed my modem cable. What? Tortor Porco. Floyd the Barber. So where is everyone from? St. Louis here. DM. I would rather blame the cat all day over the dog. Tex Hamilton, Tampa. Top 40 Hub. Blue Moves, I think you meant. Bite Your Lip is a rocker. AI Gaming. I have Rogers. Maybe it's local outage. Oh, okay. Dyslexic. Ontario, Canada. James Willis. Hello from Michigan. We can't do live streams, by the way, for Rock History Canada because we don't have 1,000 subscribers on that channel yet. I tried the other day and I went, we'll get subscribers by doing a live feed. Then I forgot that they won't allow you doing a live feed unless you have. So anyone, all our Canadian people here, please. I can understand if our American friends don't want to subscribe to Rock History Canada, of course. If you want to learn more about Canadian music, I would. So please subscribe. Just look up Rock History Canada and subscribe, please. We'll get to 1,000 subscribers real soon. Poor John's probably banging his head on his iPad. Driver 2616. John, I've really enjoyed your recent uploads of interviews with Steve Hackett and Ant Phillips. Great job. Genesis has been my favorite band since the 70s. Thank you very much. Ernesto Ramos. Video games rot your brain. Do they rot your brain, Chase?
What?
Video games rot your brain. No, he edits all my videos. His brain's pretty good. Art Matters. East Lothian, Scotland here. I'm not saying that right. Is it Lothian? Lothian? Linda Graham. Edinburgh, Scotland. Wow. Tortor Porco. What a shame John was just getting warmed up. Floyd the Barber. Maybe the dog made a dinner out of his router. Am I not going on there? What happened? As long as his record player is functioning. Hello from NYC, John. GDK Opinionator. The Opinionator. Do you have a channel? That'd be a great name. Who needs electricity? DM. Tex Hamilton, Scotland. The land of my ancestors. Oh, cool. James Willis. Right, I don't know what you're saying there. John, as a former Montrealer, you need to interview Montreal band The Damn Truth. Okay, I'll look them up. I will, for sure. Floyd the Barber, Scotland, cool. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I had scotch last night. I haven't had scotch in a while. You can't party like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can't party the way I used to. I can't do it anymore. Some Helix interviews have Ernesto. I have not interviewed them. I've talked to them, but I have not interviewed them. I've got to be discerning here with the comments because I've got to end this feed. Love Forever Changed album. How's your face doing? LOL. I don't know. DM. I'm dropped off? I'm not on? John De Silva, I still keep them. Why have some people lost me? Okay, can you guys see me now? I'm going to go off anyway, but this is weird. Can you guys see me right now? Look, they're saying I'm not on.
Really?
Oh, I was gone for a while. No mentions of Honeymoon Suite. I interviewed Derry Green maybe 4 months ago. It's on the Rock History Canada channel, and there's 2 of them on here. Guys, I got to go because he has to... I'm sorry I was gone for 5 minutes. I don't know what happened. But my son has to pick up his... But anyway, thanks for all the donations, guys. I appreciate it. That means a lot to us. The super chats mean an awful lot. It's really nice of you. If you ever want to donate to the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description of this video and a lot of great interviews coming up. Love you guys. Take care of yourself.